So last time we watched his story, but did you know he had a secret channel? That's right, today we'll be looking at the channel known as Her Story. I really don't know anything about it, but all I need to know is her story better than his story. So how about we watch her most viewed videos? She Looks Tasty is a crazy title to start with.
This boy was trolling on the dark web when her sister noticed he slammed
classic.
his laptop shut. He was shivering, and she knew something was wrong. Scared, he immediately ran to the living room. She yelled, "What happened?" But he wouldn't say anything. He started freaking out, closing all of their blinds, locking the front door, and she begged him to tell her what was going on. He was freaking out, and that's when she opened his laptop. She couldn't believe it. Someone sent him a picture of their front door. They
the
sent another
house?
picture, and when she
So
clicked on
weird.
it was a picture of her through their window that said, "She looks tasty."
Oh!
She couldn't breathe. She was about to run and grab their dad, but her brother grabbed her arm saying, "No, he'll kill me if he knew I
No,
was
you
on
must
there."
comply.
Neither of them slept that night until someone rang the doorbell the next morning. A guy with a badge told their dad they saw some suspicious activity coming from their network, but he told him he didn't know anything about it. He told them to stay safe, but the next day in class, her principal burst through their door. She told her she had to come with her that second and that the police were there, and she followed her to the office thinking it had to be her brother. But the second she walked in, she saw the same guy from yesterday holding his badge. He smiled when he saw her and told her there was an emergency at her house. He grabbed her arm and tried to pull her out, but she resisted.
Whoa. Why is the police officer so physical? Why are we touching people?
"No, tell me what happened. Is my brother okay?" But he didn't say anything. "Come with us." She didn't want to, but her principal nodded and said, "They're police officers, honey. Go with them." They took her outside, but she noticed their car didn't have any police stickers on it. She thought these guys must just be undercover.
Oh, are these like traffickers, dude? Oh no, this is gonna end so bad. Dude, these are fake police. What are you doing?
But when they put her in the back, she immediately noticed there weren't any door handles either. There
Oh my, this is so creepy.
was no way she could get out. "Where are we going?" But they laughed. She was sweating now. "Please, I just want to see my
Oh,
brother." But they didn't
no.
say anything until they saw flashing lights behind them. Both of the guys immediately got nervous, and when she realized it was the police, she knew this was her chance. The cop was walking up to the car, and she was about to scream for help, but just before she did, she felt something sharp in her stomach.
Oh my god, they're threatening her with her life.
She looked down and saw the man holding a knife against her. The cop walked up and looked inside the car, and when he saw her crying,
Dude, this
he
is a
looked suspicious.
nightmare.
She tried anything she could to signal for help, but the man said, "That's just my niece. She's upset because we didn't get
Niece.
McDonald's." She couldn't say anything. The knife was
No, hold on. Is the cop stupid? Does the cop right here not see this fake cop? It's literally illegal to impersonate a cop. Why would a cop have another cop and their niece in the backseat? I don't buy it.
She's upset because we didn't get McDonald's. She couldn't say anything. The knife was already cutting her skin, and the cop just told them to have a good day.
This is literally the dumbest fucking cop I've ever seen.
She was crying, but they drove off. She accepted her life was over. She wasn't ever gonna see her family again until they started arguing. "He saw our faces, man. If we kill her, they're gonna know it was us." So in that moment, they opened the door and threw her out, and she had to run back with her
Jesus
hands tied.
Christ. Brother, that is extremely depressing. Also, what a stupid cop, man.
We were sitting in the living room watching Shark Tank when my daughter looked at me and said, Mommy, I'm gonna be the youngest CEO in the whole neighborhood." The next weekend,
Okay,
she set up a
interesting
lemonade stand, but instead of
dream.
mixing regular country time lemonade like
She mixed poison.
every other kid, she came up with a bright idea. She spent the morning in our kitchen, mixing what she called gourmet flavors, watermelon mint, strawberry basil, and something she called lavender honey that actually tasted incredible. Home printer and charged 50 cents more per cup than every other kid on the block. Our neighbor,
Okay,
Mrs. Haggerty, was having a
upcharge.
yard sale that weekend. Mia knocked on her door and offered her 10% of her profits to set up in front of her driveway for the foot traffic. She was out there at 7 in the morning with a painted sign and little sample cups for people to try before they bought. She sold out by noon. Saturday afternoon, she recruited 2 neighborhood kids and
Good
gave them
business.
matching visors. She trained them on how to greet customers and how to make change. By Sunday morning, she was running a 3-person
Gourmet.
operation from our front yard. That's when the man in the BMW pulled up. He looked at the stand and said he only had Apple Pay. Mia reached under the table and pulled out her dad's portable card reader. She held it up to him and said, "No problem, sir. You can swipe, tap, or contactless. No excuses." His mouth dropped open while a 9-year-old processed his credit card for $3 worth of lemonade. An hour later, a kid 3 houses down set up his own stand. Mia walked over with her biggest smile and
Competition.
said, "Hey Noah, wanna merge? We'd cover way more customers together." Intimidated by her professional setup,
Damn, this girl's kind of smart. She's thinking like a mogul right now.
he agreed immediately. Within an hour, she'd absorbed his whole operation and put him in charge of what she called their satellite location.
Dude, she's low-key trying to create a monopoly so that she has control of the entire, like, neighborhood, man. Is that legal?
By the end of the weekend, she counted everything out on the kitchen table. $217. She looked at her dad and said, I just made more money than your Starbucks habit costs you in a week. Then she pulled out a notebook and started flipping through pages of profit margins and expense tracking for every flavor. I asked her where she learned about profit margins. She looked at me like it was the most obvious thing in the world. YouTube, Mom. There's tutorials for everything.
Interesting story. It's a cute story. Nothing, too much to take away from that.
I was walking alone at night when a police officer started walking beside me and grabbed my arm. Don't react and keep walking.
Okay, this better not be another situation where the police are just dumb as bricks.
Someone's following you. I subtly turned around and saw a man
Also the first time we've seen the
30
mascot.
feet behind me, matching my pace. I stopped for a second, and he instantly leaned against the wall, trying to seem discreet. The officer told me to stay calm and walk with him. He guided me forward, gripping my arm so tight I couldn't pull away even if I wanted to. I kept glancing back, and the man was now closer. That's when he walked through a streetlight, and the light shined down on something metallic sticking from his pocket. My whole body went cold. I pressed closer to the officer and told him what I saw. He nodded and said, Don't worry, we'll get you home. You're safe with me.
Well, I'm confused. Why, if the police officer has a cause to arrest someone, aka a giant fucking knife, why isn't he doing anything about it?
But then he started steering us away from the lit up main road and onto a darker sidewalk, almost like he was leading me somewhere specific. That, plus his grip on my arm, made me feel uneasy. But when I turned around, the man was now walking straight at me, holding the metallic object and no longer trying to be discreet. I knew I had no choice but to trust the officer. I told him the man was closer, and he looked around, pointing to an alleyway nearby. This cuts through to the other side of the street. You can call a cab from there. He gripped my arm even tighter and pulled me. I was about to just go with it, but then I saw a taxi sitting 50 feet in front of me with its light
Nah, this is definitely a setup, man. Why is the police officer doing nothing about it?
on. I told the officer I'll just take this one, but his grip tightened. The man is still too close and the alleyway is safer. He tried pulling me again, but I yanked my arm free and sprinted toward the cab. He reached for me again, but I was too far away. I got in and locked the door, shaking and unsure what to even think. Then 3 weeks later, I was watching the morning news, and my coffee slipped out of my hands. Two men were arrested for the murder of a woman. The officer who grabbed my arm and the man in the hood. They worked together. The man followed her at night, and the officer lured her into an alleyway under the guise of safety. The woman who trusted the officer never came home to her kids.
That's really sad. Yeah, I mean, it felt like a very obvious setup. The officer didn't care about the knife guy, and the knife guy didn't care about the officers. Why are these all so depressing?
My daughter came home holding candy, and I instantly asked,
Okay,
Where'd
back
you
to
get
a
that? She just smiled. An old man was at the bus
Dora.
stop today. He gave it to us. Alarm bells started going off in my head. The next morning, I walked with her to the bus station. The man was standing there holding a bowl of candy. He just started handing them out, and I knew something had to be wrong. I grabbed my daughter's arm. Wait, don't eat that. I took it from her and checked it for
glass.
The man just smiled at me, but when Sadie's mom saw him, she panicked. What are you giving my daughter? Stay away from her, you creep. He looked upset and just walked away without looking back. I was confused, but when he showed up the next day, Sadie's mom lost it. She started calling him a stalker and called the police. He tried to tell her he wanted to keep them safe, but she knew something had to be wrong. The police came and put him in handcuffs, but he kept saying he was keeping them safe. I thought it was weird, but when I was watching the news that night, I couldn't believe it. Apparently he had a heart attack later that day, but they were saying he was a hero.
Local hero giving out candy? What?
Apparently his daughter was waiting for the bus playing too close to the road and got hit by a car. So the old man would go to bus stops and hand out her favorite candy to keep other kids away from the road. All he wanted to do was make sure none of us had to go through the same pain he did.
Okay, that's pretty sad. He had a noble cause. I think the execution was a little out of touch. Bro, okay, for off a rip, why are her stories so much more depressing and grim than his story?
I was pushing my baby on the swings when an old woman
And let me guess, the baby dies.
walked up to us and said, "Such a beautiful baby.
Oh,
May I
that's
see his shoulder?"
creepy.
I immediately pulled my son off the swing and backed away. As we left, I heard her whisper, "The birthmark. I need to see if he has the birthmark."
Brother.
2 weeks later, she was parked in front of our building, hunched over her steering wheel crying. When she saw me notice her, she drove away quickly. I held my baby extra tight that night and decided to take him to a smaller park 6 blocks away, just to be safe. But she showed up there too, this time with a teddy bear. The tag was still on it, but it looked old, like it had been sold for decades. I grabbed my son out of the swing and yelled, "Leave us alone!" But she latched onto my shoulder and said,
"Oh my god, she's so creepy looking, dude. She looks like something from like a Resident Evil."
"Please, I just need to know about the birthmark. Does he have a star-shaped mark on his left shoulder?" I yanked her hand off and threatened to call the police. She backed off but followed us home at a distance, repeating, "My son had the same mark. Please just tell me." The next time she was at the park, a woman was with her saying, "Mom, you have to stop this. It's been 40 years. James is gone." The older woman broke down completely. "He's not gone. If I could just see the birthmark, I'd know." saying, "Mom, you have to stop this. It's been 40 years. James is gone." The older woman broke down completely. "He's not gone. If I could just see the birthmark, I'd know." That's when I'd had enough. I marched over with my baby in my arms, but froze when I saw her holding an old picture of a baby that somehow looked exactly like mine. "What's going on? Who is that?" I freaked out. The old woman said, "This is my son James. My ex-husband kidnapped him when he was a baby." Then she pointed at my son's shoulder.
But how's he
James had
still
a
a
perfect
baby?
star right there. "Tell me, does your son have it too?" She looked so desperate and broken that I finally answered her. I pulled my son's sleeve back to show her the star-shaped birthmark on his left shoulder. The old woman's legs gave out. Her daughter caught her as she sobbed uncontrollably. "My husband has the same birthmark," I said, "and he's adopted." The old woman looked at me and whispered, "What's your husband's name?" "James."
I'm confused.
I was eating goldfish on the bleachers when two fourth graders asked my teacher if they could play kickball, and she stepped back and threw her hands up. "Don't ask me, ask the king." They both turned around and walked toward me shaking. They were 2 grades older than me and a foot taller. They stopped at the bottom of the bleachers with their eyes glued to their shoes. "Can we please play kickball at recess?" I took my time finishing the goldfish in my mouth. I wiped the orange dust off my fingers onto my jeans. "Tell me why." They both forced their eyes up to meet mine. The shorter one mumbled it was his birthday. I flicked my fingers like I was swatting flies. "Have
She's
fun."
a
They
school
thanked me 4
bully.
times each before sprinting off. I reached into my bag for another handful of goldfish. A minute later, Mrs.
She's
Gibbons
addicted
walked
to
over with
those.
her hands clasped together. "Sorry to bother you, Sweetie King. There's a 3rd grader telling
Sweetie
kids they
King.
can't use the swings today. I told her to bring him to me." She nodded and walked off to find him. That's when a
Okay, what world is this where a teacher actually listens to a student? Does this student have like dirt on everyone?
teacher I'd never seen before stormed across the yard pointing straight at me. "What in the world is going on here? Why are these children acting like you're in charge?"
Yeah.
Mrs. Gibbons sprinted back over and grabbed his elbow. Stop
Is this like the daughter of the principal, superintendent? That's all I can really think of.
talking right now. The new teacher yanked his arm away and turned back to me. "I am not letting a 2nd grader run this playground." He marched up the bleachers and grabbed my wrist. "You're coming with me to the principal's office right now." Before he could pull me down,
It's the
2
principal's
men in
daughter.
black suits came running across the yard.
What?
They slammed him into the grass.
She's
and
like the
pinned his
king's
hands behind
daughter?
his back without saying a word. I climbed down from the bleachers and crouched next to his ear. "Don't you ever disrespect me again." I dropped a goldfish into his mouth, stood up, and walked off. That's when the
Free
principal
food.
came running out of the building. He took one look and dropped to his knees. "Please forgive us, Miss Sweetie King. Mr. Dealwood will be
What?
fired by the end of the day." I kept walking past him without a word, munching on goldfish. The principal slapped Mr. Dealwood in the back of the head. "You idiot! Her family runs the entire underground crime scene."
What the heck? That was a weird twist. Okay, I did not expect that to be an option.
My daughter asked me, "Mom, can I dye my hair blonde?" I knocked my chair back so hard it hit the wall. "What did you just say to me?" Juliet flinched. "I just asked if I could dye my— No, stop. Something is wrong with you. You told your aunt she looked like a burnt corn husk for going blonde. You told a girl her hair looked like it was dipped in piss. And now you want to be blonde?" She started crying. "Why are you screaming at me? It's literally just a color." I should have felt guilty, but I knew something was seriously wrong with my daughter. The next morning, Juliet walked into the kitchen asking me to make her scrambled eggs. I spat out my water because Juliet has gagged at eggs her entire life. I made them
She's a
anyway
changed
because I
woman.
needed to watch her eat
What
them.
can you say?
She ate every single bite. "Thanks, Mom. These were
Puberty?
really good." I called my best friend for help. She said I was spiraling. My mom told me to stop smothering Juliet. Her father just said, "Relax." Nobody was listening to me, but I wasn't wrong. Because before she went to bed, she said, "Good night, Petra." She saw my horrified face and
Petra?
bonked her head. "Sorry, Mom. I meant Mom." Juliet had never called me Mom before. That
Hold on, is this daughter like not her daughter? Is this
weekend
the
we
wrong
went to the
person?
mall because I needed to do something normal with her. But then she stopped in front of a mirror and said, "I really think I'd look good blonde." I grabbed her by the shoulders and turned her around to face me. "Why do you keep saying that? You have hated blonde hair your entire life. What is happening to you?" Juliet
I'm not
shoved
your
me off.
daughter.
"Why can't I just want something different without you completely losing it?" "Because you're not my daughter. Why won't anybody believe me?" I was crying now. Juliet was backing away from me. Then a man walked over and said he was a psychiatrist and could help. The psychiatrist asked, "Juliet, do you have gaps in your memory?" She looked scared. "Sometimes I'm at school and then I'm home and I don't remember the drive." He recorded the session and then
It's all
played parts of
freaky.
it back for her. She watched in horror. That's not me.
Whoa, dude, that's like Severance where you can't remember like half of your life.
I didn't say that. That was 11 minutes ago, Juliet. He sat back in his chair. "Juliet, what I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to hear, but I need you to listen." She was shaking. "You have
Okay.
something called dissociative identity disorder. The blonde hair, the eggs, calling your mother Petra. That wasn't you, Juliet. There is someone else in your mind, and when she comes forward, you don't remember any of it." Juliet looked terrified. Juliet started treatment engagement that same month. The alter's name is Eloise. She likes scrambled eggs and calls me Petra. Juliet still hates blonde hair. Eloise still asks to diet. Some mornings I can tell who I'm talking to before she even opens her mouth.
So her daughter is a schizophreniac. I feel like this story was a whole bunch of nothing.
Keep smiling or you're sleeping outside tonight. My mom
Film the
said while someone
TikTok,
from
like
Child
mommy told
Protective
you.
Services knocked on our front door. We'd been filming our morning routine for the 13th time because I kept blinking wrong. My face ached from holding the same smile since 6 a.m. and the ring lights had burned fresh marks up both my arms. My mom yanked my sleeves down over the burns before she opened the door. My dad grabbed my school workbook off the counter and shoved it under the couch. The woman at the door held up a badge and introduced herself as Melinda. A viewer sent us screenshots of bruises and burns on your daughter from your recent videos. My mom walked around behind Melinda where only I could see her face twist into a silent threat.
Oh my gosh, she literally looks like Satan, dude. Look at those eyes, man. Those eyebrows.
I smiled with all my teeth showing. Everything is amazing here. I love making videos with my parents every single day. Melinda swiped to a photo on her tablet and held it up. Then why do you have a black eye covered with makeup in this video from last week? I hit a doorknob because I'm clumsy and my mom helped me cover it so viewers wouldn't worry. Melinda looked at me and back at my parents. She's 10. Why isn't she in school right now? My mom cut in fast. She doesn't need school. She makes more money than most adults. Show me her schoolwork. My mom just stared at her. We don't waste time on books when she could be filming. Melinda stood up straighter. I need to speak with your daughter alone. My dad stepped forward, but Melinda held up her badge. Refuse and I call the police. Your choice. They went into the kitchen, but left the door cracked open. Melinda put a piece of paper in my hands. Read this out loud for me. I stared at the page for a long time and just held it up and smiled.
Oh, she's illiterate. She's never been to school. All she knows is how to make TikToks.
I love reading. She put a pen in my hand. Write your name for me. My hand hovered over the paper, but I couldn't remember how to spell it. Everything is perfect, I whispered, and my eyes went to the cracked door. Melinda leaned in close enough that only I could hear. I'm getting them out of this room. She stood up and opened the kitchen door. Leave this house completely, or I call for backup right now. My dad slammed the front door on his way out. She sat back down and looked at me. Where do you sleep? My jaw ached from smiling all day, and my eyes burned. In the basement. I walked her downstairs to a concrete floor with 2 thin blankets and no pillow. Melinda photographed everything and rolled my sleeves up and looked at the burns.
Oh my, what are they doing to her, man?
At both arms. How did these happen? The lights get really hot during filming. She went straight to my parents and pulled out her phone. Your daughter can't read. She can't write her name. She's covered in burns and she sleeps on concrete. I am removing her from your care right now. My dad gripped the door frame. This kid is our property and we own everything she makes. Melinda held the phone closer to his face. 2 officers showed up 20 minutes later and my aunt was right behind them. She knelt down in front of me and wrapped both arms around my shoulders. You never have to smile for a camera again.
Oh man, that's actually really sad. A lot of parents just use their kids as props for their own gain. It's actually really depressing.
I was about to perform my ballet dance in front of the entire school when I saw a bucket of slime in the top corner of the curtain rail. It was
the Kids' Choice
right
Awards.
over the area where my dance ended, and I clenched my fists because I knew someone was trying to sabotage me. But when the curtain was up and I locked eyes with my college scout who'd decide whether or not I'd get my dance school scholarship, I knew I had to dance. I hit my first turn, and the momentum carried me right at the bucket. So I cut it short and spun off the other way, landing a foot from the rim of the bucket in a plie, and my heart was pumping with adrenaline. I could see my bully Veronica in the front row, giggling with all the mean girls. She mouthed the words, "Careful, ballerina." She was trying to get me to flinch and fall under the slime bucket, so I tensed my body and kept dancing. I did a quadruple turn, gracefully landing with my hands raised above my head. Most of the auditorium clapped, and my college scout nodded while writing in his clipboard, but I noticed one of the mean girls was recording me, and when our eyes met, she mouthed, "You won't last long, ballerina. Everyone's about to watch you eat it." My knees started shaking because it was time for my grand finale, the final jump right under the slime bucket. I heard a whistle from behind the stage and saw Veronica was now standing where no one could see her, and her hand was on the rope of the bucket, getting ready to dump the entire thing on top of me. "You're not getting out of this, ballerina," she said, her phone still pointed right at me. I knew I only had a few seconds to react and make the right decision, so I threw myself into the grand jeté and came flying right at her face. She was so startled that she fell back, and the bucket went with her, and 3 liters of cold slime poured down over her own head. All of her fake friends turned their cameras towards her, still live streaming and laughing. Veronica stood frozen, green sludge sliding.
Yo, Loki, well, that Loki like a Metroid for a second on her head right there.
Sludge sliding off her chin onto her screen. "Delete it," she screamed, clawing at her eyes. My scout caught my eye through the chaos and nodded once. "I've seen enough," he called up to the stage. "Welcome to Juilliard."
Juilliard. Nice. That was an okay story.
My teacher fed me pineapple, which I'm allergic to, so I brought my own treats to class as revenge. I've had pineapple allergy my whole life, and I've nearly unalived from it so many times I can't even watch SpongeBob anymore without getting anxious. So when Mrs. Wallace walked into chemistry class with a huge pan of pineapple upside-down cake, everyone groaned because her baking was terrible. She said, I stayed up all night making this
That's
for you
so mean.
kids. Lucky for me, I had the perfect excuse. I politely told her that I was allergic to pineapple, but it looked amazing, and everyone else would love it. Mrs. Wallace's face turned red, and she said, I don't think so, young lady. Sit down and try a piece. I literally can't eat pineapple. I don't even have my EpiPen today because I didn't know there would be pineapple at school. You're lying. Nobody's allergic to pineapple. It's not even native to where white people live. That's exactly.
So hold on, why is this teacher so adamant about feeding her food? Also, I feel like it has to be a health concern.
Why I'm allergic to it. The whole class was dead silent. Everyone knew about my allergy because I'd had reactions at school before from someone's tropical fruit salad and even from touching a desk where someone had spilled pineapple juice. Mrs. Wallace walked over to my desk and put a huge piece of cake in front of me. The pineapple chunks.
What is wrong with ew, what is this, dude? For a second, that looked like a quiche or like an egg cake, man. Wow. No wonder no one wants to eat it, man. Your cooking fucking sucks.
Cake part, which looked burnt. Either you eat this cake or I drop everyone's grade a full letter. Everyone stared at me.
Why is she so psychotic, dude? She must be so insecure about her cooking.
Kayla mouthed, don't do it. But Tommy looked panicked because he was already at a C- and couldn't go back to summer school. I looked at that disgusting cake and thought about my mom. She couldn't afford another hospital bill. We were still paying off the last one from when I accidentally drank someone's pina colada at the mall thinking it was lemonade. But the whole class was counting on me. I took the smallest bite possible. The cake was somehow
she's gonna die.
raw in the middle, and the pineapple was so sour my eyes watered. But that wasn't the worst part. Within 30 seconds, my tongue started tingling. Then my throat felt tight like someone was squeezing it. My lips were swelling up.
What is this, my friend? Is that really inside of us?
Someone was squeezing it. My lips were swelling up and I could feel hives spreading across my neck. I need help, I whispered, but it came out weird because my tongue was swollen. The last thing I remember was Kayla screaming and Mrs. Wallace saying she's faking before everything went black. I woke up in the hospital with tubes in my arm.
Oh, she has to be sued and
The room was
fired
full of get well cards from everyone in chemistry class, but nothing from Mrs. Wallace. The doctor said I was lucky Kayla's mom was a nurse and had taught her to recognize anaphylaxis. Since I got a second chance at life, I got an idea. I spent the next 2 days at home recovering and making special honey jars for everyone in class. Each jar had a cute label that said, that was a sticky situation. Thanks for the get well card with little bee drawings.
Oh, that's
I
cute.
made 23 small jars for the students and one special larger jar for Mrs. Wallace.
Poison it.
Back into chemistry, everyone started clapping. I handed out the honey jars and everyone loved them. Mrs. Wallace was at her desk grading papers and pretending I didn't exist. Mrs. Wallace, I brought you honey too, I said.
I'm sorry. How does Mrs. Wallace still have a job? How is she still in the school district? She almost killed a child.
That's suspicious, but I could tell she didn't want to look mean in front of everyone again. That's very thoughtful, Taylor, she said in this fake voice. She was drinking her usual morning tea, so I walked over and squeezed a huge glob of honey into her mug. She stirred it and took a big sip. I went back to my seat and whispered to Kayla, watch this. About 5 minutes into class, Mrs. Wallace's face got red. She started shifting in her seat. Then she let out the loudest fart I've ever heard in my life. Then someone started giggling. Her face was sweating now, and she was grabbing her stomach. She stood up to run to the door, but that's when it happened. Brown liquid started running down her leg.
Ew, it actually was. What the heck?
Floor. The smell hit everyone at once, and people started gagging. What did you put in that honey? She screamed at me. She tried to run, but slipped in her own mess and had to crawl out of the classroom toward the bathroom, leaving a trail behind her. Kayla pulled me aside and whispered, what did you put in that honey? It's freshly made ghost pepper infused honey.
Oh, wait, what the heck? Wait, I understand people can't handle spice. Everyone has their own spice tolerance. People just shit themselves if they can't handle spice.
I handed a flight attendant a napkin that said, the man next to me is not my father. Please help. She smiled and asked me if I wanted any peanuts. Then she walked away. My heart sank and I felt Arthur's hand squeezing my thigh under the tray table. You're not thinking about doing something stupid, are you? I shook my head and he smiled and patted me like a dog saying, good girl. But I looked at the flight attendant and wondered if she was going to help me because in 3 hours we would land, and then I would vanish like the others Arthur told me about. But after a few minutes, the flight attendant came back pushing the drink cart. Ma'am, we have a medical situation and need to move a few passengers so the crew can access the emergency equipment. Arthur's hand clamped down on my wrist. She's not moving. The flight attendant kept her eyes on me and said, sir, I need to hear from her directly. But Arthur told her, she's my daughter, and she's not right in the head. You move her and she'll have an episode. And so she bent down to fix something under my seat, and I felt her breath on my ear. When I squeeze your hand, you run. And then she stood up and smiled at Arthur. Let me check with with my boss, but she reached toward me like she was handing me a pack of peanuts. Then her fingers closed around mine and squeezed hard. I ripped my arm free from Arthur and threw myself into the aisle, but he lunged after me and grabbed my arm. You stupid girl, you're not going anywhere. And then the flight attendant slammed into him and yelled, "Get your hands off her." But Arthur shoved her into a drink cart and she hit the floor. But she yanked his leg, which sent him crashing into a row of seats. That's when two men grabbed him. Federal air marshals. Don't move.
Hell yeah.
That's my daughter. She's insane and off her medication. Call the police. We are the police. TSA flagged your name. You're wanted in 3 states. Arthur looked at me desperately saying, "Tell them you wanted this." But I crouched down so my face was inches from his. "I want you to rot."
Oh, GG. Screw you, Arthur. Yo, W flight attendant, man.
My son ripped open his birthday present, saw the
PS5,
and pushed it to the side. "Mom, I said I wanted a PC. I picked up the box. If you don't want it, you're not getting anything at all." He crossed his arms. "Fine, I don't even want that crappy PS5. All my friends have PCs." That PS5 took me 3 months of overtime and skipped lunches to save for. So I grabbed it and drove straight to the store. My son was about to find out what ungrateful gets you. I was standing in the return line when I noticed a kid about 9 by the game shelf, holding a PS5 case with both hands like it was made of gold. He ran to his mom, who had cigarette burns on her jacket and bags under her eyes. Mom, you gotta see this." She put her hand on his shoulder. "We can't afford that baby. I'm sorry." He put the case back on the shelf, ran his fingers across it one more time, and walked away. I stepped out of the return line because I'd rather give it to a kid who'd care about it than let my son think he'd ever get it back. I grabbed the game he'd been holding, bought it with the PS5, and caught them in the parking lot. His mom saw the bag and shook her head before I could say a word. "We don't take charity." She took her son's hand and started walking. I pulled out my phone and FaceTimed my son so he could watch what his PS5 was about to do for someone else. I held the bag out one more time. "It's not charity. Santa sent me." She stopped walking. Her son pulled his hand free and walked back to me. He opened the bag and his whole body froze. "Mom, a PS5! Mom, a PS5!" She grabbed my arm with both hands and couldn't get any words out. My son on the other end of the phone was screaming and slamming his fists on his bed. The kid stopped mid-jump and stared at my phone. "Is he okay?" I smiled. "Yeah, he's just really happy for you."
Wait, is this W mom or L mom? Nah, screw it, W mom. That kid was too ungrateful, man.
During my flight, a man came up to the girl I saved and tried to grab her headphones. He said, "Don't you know it's rude to wear headphones indoors?" I said, "Please leave her alone."
What are you talking about?
"I'm just teaching her some manners." He smiled like that made it okay. Amara was gripping the armrest so tight her knuckles had gone white. "She doesn't want to talk. Please respect that." "I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being neighborly." He reached across me again and poked the girl. Hey, I'm talking to you. Take the headphones out." I stopped him. "Those aren't headphones.
Bro,
They're
stop touching someone's kid.
She needs them. For what? The plane's not that loud." I shook my head. I didn't want to explain Amara's file to a stranger on a plane. The refugee camp where she'd spent 7 years. The militia attack that killed her parents in front of her. The 36 hours she spent under her mother's body, not moving, barely breathing.
Damn,
"So, I need you to stop talking to her." "Or what?" He laughed. "I paid for my seat same as you. I can talk to whoever I want." Amara was rocking now. Small movements. The way she did when things got too loud, too close, too much. He waved down a flight attendant. "Excuse me. This woman is being extremely rude. I've been trying to have a simple conversation and she keeps shutting me down."
I just want to talk to an underage girl, that's all.
Passengers uncomfortable, then she should really take the headphones off. She reached for Amara's ear to take it off. "Don't touch her." Too late. The earpiece came out, and Amara screamed. Not a startled scream. A primal, broken, terrified scream. The kind that comes from somewhere so deep, it doesn't sound human. She threw herself against the window and started hitting herself over and over again, clawing at the plastic.
Give her the headphones back. What are you doing?
That I couldn't understand, but didn't need to. The whole plane went silent. Amara, it's okay. You're safe. You're safe." She wasn't hearing me. She was somewhere else. 7 years ago, listening to machetes drag across concrete while hiding from people who wanted to hurt her. The man in 14A had pressed himself against the aisle, face white. I didn't know. You didn't."
Dude, fuck you, man. You knew exactly what's gonna happen.
Himself against the aisle, face white. I didn't know. You didn't ask." I was trying to hold Amara without restraining her. I had no idea how I was going to help her. And that's when an ex-veteran in uniform from 3 rows back stood beside us. He didn't say anything, just stared at us. He pulled off his own noise-canceling headphones and held them out to me. The flight attendant stepped toward him. "Sir, you need to return to your..." He held up one hand. Didn't look at her. Didn't need to. She stopped mid-sentence. I slid his headphones over Amara's ears. Her hands flew up to grip them, hold them in place. Her eyes were still wild, but her mouth closed. The screaming stopped. He gave me a single nod, then walked back to his seat without another word. The flight attendant's face crumpled. I'm sorry. I didn't know this would happen." The man said he felt unsafe. "Shut the F up. You chose his comfort over a traumatized child's medical needs."
Wait, I'm confused though. The flight attendant took the headphones off. Why couldn't you just give it back to the child when she was having her episode?
My mom looked me in the eyes and said, "If you disappeared tomorrow, no one would even notice." Everyone laughed.
Jesus, what an opener, man.
I raised my hot dog and said, challenge accepted. That night, I packed 2 suitcases and left my key on the kitchen counter. No note, no goodbye. I'd spent 29 years organizing every holiday, baking every birthday cake, and cleaning up after everyone while they took selfies without me in them. I moved 3 hours away to a cabin by the lake and blocked every number in my phone. First week, my phone stayed silent, exactly like Mom predicted. Week 2, my brother tried calling 47 times. Nobody could figure out how to work the washing machine I'd been fixing for years. He ended up buying new underwear instead of learning the spin cycle. Week 3, my sister showed up at my old job crying and begging my coworkers for my number. She couldn't figure out how to renew her car registration, the same one I'd been handling since she was 16. She'd never even been
So she's basically the glue that like held the family together. Because apparently everyone in that family's incompetent.
to the DMV. Month 2, my dad missed his blood pressure medication for 3 weeks straight because nobody
And he's
remembered
dead.
his refill schedule. He ended up in urgent care. The doctor asked if he had any family support at home. He just stared at the floor. By month 3, my mom had a full breakdown when she realized I'd been handling every birthday, every anniversary, and every doctor appointment for the entire family. She hired a professional organizer for $200 a week to do what I'd done for free my entire adult life. The organizer quit after 2 weeks because mom kept telling her to just handle it the way I used to. Meanwhile, I was taking pottery classes by the lake and sleeping in past 7 for the first time in my life. Mom finally tracked down my number and called sobbing. We fell apart without you. Your father can't find his own socks. Your brother flooded the laundry room trying to fix the washer. I listened to her cry. The same woman who told me no one would notice. Challenge completed, Mom, and I hung up. Turns out people do notice when you disappear. They just never bothered to notice when you're there doing everything for them.
You never know you've missed something in life until it's gone. It seems like her entire family are just infants.
I could hear my son shouting from the living room that Santa was coming down the chimney. And then I heard a loud thud. I dropped the dishes and sprinted to the living room, convinced I was about to drive my 6-year-old to the ER. I found him standing by the fireplace, bouncing up and down. He looked at me with bright eyes. Santa's here.
Jesus Christ, man. I can't tell my man's 5 or 50.
Bright eyes. Santa's here. He's coming down the chimney right now, but I'm not smiling. I'm staring at the pocket knife he's holding. Where did you get that? It fell down the chimney. Can I keep it? And that was when I heard the faint sounds of someone walking on the roof above us. My blood went cold. How did he find us? I asked my son if I could look at the knife, and sure enough, I saw my ex's initials engraved on the side.
Oh my God, we got a crazy X story here, folks.
I start to feel dizzy, like I'm going to throw up. I'd moved to the middle of nowhere, erased myself from social media, and worked remotely under a different name. How did he find me? My
She
son
didn't
looks
use
up at me,
NordVPN,
worried.
that's the
Mama,
issue.
what's wrong? Nothing, baby. It's just Santa can't know we're awake. We need to hide, okay? I watched my son light up again. Okay, I already knew the house was locked up tight. It was a habit I did every night for the past 6 years. I'd even welded bars to the opening on the chimney. Now
I was gonna say,
trying to chip away at the welded seams with his pocket knife, but his hand must have slipped. That wasn't going to stop him. He would find a way in eventually, which meant I didn't have a lot of time. I turned off all the lights and led my son down into the basement. I double-checked each and every lock before carrying my son down the stairs. I whispered to him, "Now remember, no matter what, you gotta stay quiet." He put his finger to his lips and went, "Shh." It was only minutes before we heard loud banging against the front door. We jumped when we heard our front door fall onto the flooring inside. My son was gripping my shirt tightly. "Mama, shh." Remember? We listened to my ex rampage through the house. At first, he was just running up and down the steps, opening and slamming doors. Then he started shouting, "Where is my son?" He started to bang against the basement door.
Oh, that's his dad?
You're in there. The police are on their way. I hugged my baby closer. I couldn't keep myself from tearing up. I knew it was over, as much as it broke my heart. I tried to keep my voice steady as I whispered, "Sweetie, you're going to learn and hear a lot of things soon, but I hope one day you'll see that every parent has their flaws. I want you to know that I love you and that you never did anything wrong, okay?" I know he doesn't understand when he looks up at me, but he nods anyway, and we hug each other tightly. I hear police sirens just as my ex manages to break through the door. I push my son behind me and stand up as my ex runs down the stairs. He lunges at me and grabs my neck, choking me, but I already feel numb. I feel numb as police officers sprint down the steps and tear him away from me, then cuff my hands behind me. I feel numb as I'm led out of the house and walk past the woman my ex cheated on me with. The woman he left me for, got married to, and decided to start
Wait, hold on. Why did the mother get handcuffed? She literally did nothing wrong. It's her house.
A family with. I feel numb when I see the tears flooding her cheeks as she's looking past me into the house, hopeful. The only time I felt anything was when an officer was putting me in the back of their cruiser, and I looked up to see my son fighting against an officer trying to keep him next to my ex. He was reaching for me, biting and scratching and crying out, "Mama, Mama!" My ex and the woman looked pale, and the woman fell to her knees. 6 years ago, my heart was shattered, so on a whim, I decided to break theirs. I broke into their house and stole their baby straight from his crib. I've been on the run ever since. My heart broke watching my son cry because that was what he was, my little boy.
Oh my god. So she's the bad person, kind of. Wait, what a twist. So this mother is the psycho. That's not even her blood son. Okay. That was actually a pretty good twist.
I pulled out my silk pillow at the sleepover, and Jenny instantly tried to grab it. Oh my god, is that silk? I heard it doesn't tangle your hair. I want to sleep on it. I pulled the pillow back from her. I'm having an eczema flare-up right now. My face will break out in a painful rash without this. I set the pillow on my sleeping bag, but Jenny crossed her arms. That's just an excuse. I have school photos to take tomorrow. I told her no for the final time and flicked off the lights. Jenny didn't talk to me again, so I said whatever and just scrolled my phone until I fell asleep. But at 2 a.m., I shot awake because my face was completely burning. I winced in pain and couldn't understand why. Until I felt my pillow, I realized it wasn't silk. My eyes flew open, and when I looked over, Jenny was sound asleep on my silk pillow. I realized she'd taken it while I slept. I got up and quietly stormed to the bathroom, looking at the painful, red eczema marks covering my face. They hurt to touch, and when I looked back and saw Jenny drooling all over my pillow, I felt pure anger flood my veins. I looked around the room and grabbed an old shoebox with about an inch of dust on it. I knew this was extreme, but I didn't care. I set it down at Jenny's and started slowly sliding out my pillow from under her head. She mumbled something and turned around, and I finished taking it out. I slid the dusty shoebox to where the pillow was, resting her head on it, and tiptoed back to my sleeping bag. I laid down on my silk pillow, watching Jenny sleep on a shoebox that hadn't been used since the fall of the Roman Empire. She woke up in the morning complaining about neck pain, but when she saw the shoebox, she instantly freaked out. She went red and ran into the bathroom and saw her tangled hair and an acne breakout forming all over her face from the shoebox. She turned me red in the face, but I just put my pillow back in my bag and smirked. Ready for photo day, Jenny? She started sobbing.
That was such a random story. What was like the moral of it? Don't take someone's pillow?
A girl walked into my salon with a man twice her size. Buzz every hair off her head. As she sat down, I could tell her hair hadn't been washed in weeks. What are we doing today, sweetheart? But just as she opened her mouth, he stepped forward. I already told you what we're doing today. You have 20 minutes, then we're leaving no matter what. We have somewhere to be. I tilted the girl's head back over the basin and lifted the hair off her forehead. Written across her skin in black Sharpie were two words: help me. I let the water.
Bro, why there's so many abusive parents and partners, dude? Like, Jesus, why can't we all just get along?
Run and kept my hands moving, but everything in my body locked up. The girl locked eyes with me like I was the last person on earth who could save her, but the man was watching us from 15 feet away. I had 17 minutes to call the police. I stepped away from the basin and pretended to grab a towel when really I was
grabbing the phone.
I got 3 steps before he
Damn, dude. Do you see that? Damn, dude, that is quite the angle.
I got 3 steps before he looked up from his chair and looked suspicious, so I grabbed the towel rack instead. 15 minutes. The girl lifted up her sleeves to show me her hands covered in scars, and I knew
that's an
something
abuse
was
victim.
very wrong. I quickly grabbed a receipt and scribbled, "Call the police." I tried to pass it to the receptionist, but the man called out from his chair, "What did you just hand her?" The receptionist froze, looked at the note, looked at the man. "Yeah, what are you doing?" she asked, completely oblivious. "Oh, I just wanted you to throw this out for me." She threw it away without reading it. 12 minutes.
Oh my god, fire the receptionist, dude. What actual dunce.
How much longer? I held up a chunk of matted hair. These knots go all the way to the root. If I rush this, it'll rip her skin open. He sat back down, but moved his chair closer to us. I leaned in to adjust her cape, and she whispered, "If we leave, I'm not coming back." 9 minutes. The back room was 20 steps behind me. I could get there and dial 911 in under a minute, but that meant leaving her alone with him. 6 minutes. I looked around the whole salon. Every stylist was with a client. The receptionist was on a call. Nobody was looking at us. I had nothing. 1 minute. He walked straight toward us. "Give me the clippers. I'll do it myself." But just as he reached past me toward the counter, the front door swung open.
How?
2 officers barged in and followed the direction of my coworker, who was pointing straight at him. Every woman in that salon watched as he was escorted out in handcuffs. How did you know to call the police? The back of his neck had the Buddhist symbol of peace. The second the door closed behind him.
Oh, he's a cultured man.
The girl grabbed my arm with both hands and buried her face into my shoulder. When she finally pulled back, I took a warm cloth and wiped the Sharpie off her forehead. "He's gone. So what are we actually doing today?" She looked at herself in the mirror and her eyes filled up. "Can you just make it pretty?"
Aw, damn, dude. That's quite the story. Okay, so just at a glance, between her story and his story, honestly, I like that her story's better for some reason. I think they're written better. Now show me them story.